Hang on. Start. No. Yes. I'm broken. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for another reaction video. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications because it helps me out a lot, and hopefully it'll let you know when these go live so you don't miss them. Now, we're back with a song that you guys have been asking for a very long time, and for good reason, because it is a collab of two of the biggest, most significant symphonic metal bands that I've discovered on my channel, and I can't wait to see it. It is 6 parts Epica, 1 part Nightwish, and I am super keen to get stuck into this one. Yeah, let's stop talking, let's start listening. Epica, Sancta Terra featuring Floor Jansen, live retrospect show. Let's see what you got. Really nice kind of Middle Eastern vibe to the keywork and the orchestral bits there. Their voices together. I knew it'd be good. I didn't know it'd be this good. Let me commit a cardinal sin and just move past the vocals for just a second. I loved the introduction there with the keys, the orchestral bits and whistles there. It sounded very Middle Eastern. I really like the feel to this song. Nice and slow, stripped back. Even the distorted kind of palm muting and gallops and stuff, there's like nice big gaps between them. There's nice ring outs at the end of the phrasing, and it's almost like the music is creating this perfect backdrop for them. And of course their vocals need to be the hero, but you can't understate the value of what these very talented musicians are doing to make their vocals stand out and be the priority. And I think it's really, really good. That coupled with the fact that it has a live orchestral element to it, it's really magical. The mix on this is great. There's some awesome panning. If you have headphones, please listen to this with headphones. You're going to hear some special live editing tricks. And so far, yeah, I kind of get why you wanted me to hear this. Oh, their vocals are incredible. There is such a nice contrast though between them, because when you listen to these bands separately and you do it like I do on the channel, where there's quite a big gap sometimes between listening to Epica and then Nightwish, it's easy for people who and I've seen this in the comments, for people who aren't actively listening to the tone and richness of their vocals, for them to assume that they're quite similar. And it's because they have great range and they go into that operatic feel sometimes, but they are very different vocalists. Simone has a very distinct brightness to her voice, and I'm 100% sure there's classical training there, and we just know what Floor's capable of, but she has a different kind of depth. She's able to complement and blend with that brightness so well. It's magical. And I'm no vocal coach, and this is probably one that's better suited to vocal coaches, but to be honest, don't care. I'm enjoying it too much. There, just listen to that. So as she finishes her phrasing in her line there, you'll hear that orchestral and synth piece there. No. It's like the song builds up with their vocals, it holds in suspense for just a small period, and then it drips back down again, and it resets the bass musically for them. It's extraordinarily intelligent. Okay. Listen here. So I'm going to assume that's the pre-chorus, and I hate to kind of stop there because usually that's when there's a power shift. But the cool thing with this is there's been quite a long openness to the drumming. There's a clearly defined piece of hi-hat work. There's a very clearly defined snare hit, and in that little pre-chorus bit, or it's not going to be a bridge. It's too early on. It has to be a pre-chorus, but there is an increase. This is a double time of the snare hits, and it's just the placement is different. So you can feel the uplift in intensity and energy, and that's how you know something's evolving. It feels like the song's building. It's only a minute in, but there's some very intelligent choices being made. I need a minute. Man, that not what I expected. That chorus was very different to what I expected. I didn't really know what I expected, but I wasn't that. That was very it was beautiful, first of all. Absolutely bangs. What I do like about it, let's start with the music. What I really like about it is that the music, while very audible, all the pieces from the band to the orchestra to everything, I can hear a lot of what's going on. It's been mixed very, very well. And that's not a credit to me listening or being an active listener. It's a credit to the engineer and how he's mixed the live performance. But I like that the music didn't try and take over in that moment. Usually in a chorus, that's the most melodic part of the song. So far, so good, because that was absolutely beautiful. And their voices blending together really, really well. They both kind of went up into that higher register, and ordinarily, when you hear vocalists do that, a lot of the times it doesn't work, and that's because they don't have near the ability of these two. So I'm not surprised that it sounded as good as it did. Nice little rundowns in the vocal. I have to hear it again because, and of course they're going to do it again. You don't do a piece like that just once in a song. But what I did like, and I did hear, is there's, I think it's two phrasings, and then you hear that orchestral piece in the back with the strings and stuff starting to wobble down with them, and wobble's the wrong word, climb down, because there is distinct steps in it. But it's really nice to hear that scale work jump down and mimic the vocals, but it allowed them to do that first with two phrases. I think it was two. The composition on this is outstanding. Listen to that. So even though they're singing quite a similar vocal pattern, I'll go back one more because why the hell not? Even though they're singing a similar vocal pattern, that's what I mean by the contrast. Listen to how Floor starts that phrasing and ends it going up, because there's the distinct kind of more, in at least for their vocal ranges, the more general kind of speaking register, and then it drifts up towards the end or shifts up. Listen to how Floor starts and then how Simone starts. There's a distinct difference there. So for anyone out there who's like, I don't like symphonic metal because all the vocalists sound the same, well, you couldn't be more wrong. And I will tell you that every day until you get it. I do want to point one more thing out there, and Pause Gang for life. Shout out Palm Eating Gang. Shout out Pause Gang. Shout out Pack a Lunch Gang. The one of the cool things I've noticed about Simone is she's a bit more like there's a bit more drama and theater in her voice. So you can hear the pronunciation of certain words is quite like, it's sometimes not overpronounced, but there's a lot of clarity. There's an effort to make sure that it's pronounced extremely well, and it sounds a bit more theatrical. I really like it. I like the contrast so much. I think they're magical. they don't run out of air. I actually like when there's an authenticity to recordings, and not just with live recordings, when there's an authenticity to the even studio recordings where you can hear some of the breath being taken by the artist. I think things get cleaned up too much. This is a perfect example of one of those songs that by no means am I suggesting that there wasn't some attempt to kind of clean up the live audio and in a very honest and authentic way, but they are so remarkably talented and controlled that you're not hearing too much of that. It's kind of the perfect blend. It's exactly where you want it to sit. And I've got to commend the band here because they're kind of sitting in the middle. You've got the vocals on top, you've got the orchestra kind of a little bit behind, and not in terms of frequency, but I'd say a bit lower, and you've got the band in the middle. And it's very easy with the band being as talented as they are to overplay certain bits. And you've heard some of the nice quick double kick work and then they retreat again. Their job is to provide the middle of the symphonic middle, right? And they're doing a fantastic job of that. The guitar work is as simple as can be, yet the rhythm of it is quite fresh and new. Drums really consistent on the beat, and quite literally sitting in between the melodic musical elements and the backing symphonic elements. And that's not easy from an auditory purpose. I know you will have in-ears and studio monitors, but it must be difficult to be surrounded by instruments you aren't used to. And it's a perfect place to pause because being the drummer, he's further back. It's awesome. Okay, you will hear something awesome here. You'll hear the orchestral bit. You'll hear, obviously, this is a bit more of an instrumental section of the song, but have a listen. If you have headphones or not, you should still pick it up. If you have headphones, you hear it to the left. There's a horn bit. There's like a horn section that's pulling away from the music. It sounds like it's starting closer to the center point and drifting a little bit away and then coming back again. And that's partly due to the nature of the instrument itself and partly due to the mixing, but it's very cool. Have a listen for that. You heard her. This drop in intensity is very needed, but I want you to watch out for something because I remember saying this about Simone in one of the previous performances. She puts her hand behind her back, which is most likely where her wireless unit is for her microphone, or at least the monitoring unit. So she's probably, in the first video, I said it might be an adjustment, like it's uncomfortable because of the outfit she was wearing. But here, I think it's simply a matter of adjusting the volume. Maybe it's turning it up a bit, maybe it's turning it down a bit. And then hearing the drop in intensity, that's kind of why I wanted to pause that there, is because it may very well be that she's pumped the vocals or whatever she needs to listen to a little bit louder because of the full mix. And when it drops back, she just wants it a bit softer to get the clarity in that. These are professionals through and through. Get in. Man, come on, how cool is that? Just spoke, not too long ago about the instrumentation from the band being generous, helpful, retreating, and making sure that everything else shines. It's like that best supporting actor or actress. But that was a different scenario there. The vocals were going to take a break. Okay, now it's almost a battle between the the orchestra and the band in the best possible sense, because it's a complementary sound. But they kind of took the lead there, but not in a silly way. There wasn't some show-off piece that was just dominated by a solo. There wasn't they didn't push any of the individual instruments too loud to kind of show them more from an amplification point of view. It was just a really nice change in phrasing, change in intensity and pace, and you had the orchestra kind of countering that as it shifted. I'll go back to, because I do want to hear that, but there's a part in here which sounds like it goes into kind of like a waltz. It breaks that 4/4 kind of wall where it sounds predefined, predictable, and it almost goes into that 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 2 3, and it sounds like it's like becoming more of a very heavy dance. And it's just, for me, a sway in that rhythm is again another intelligent choice. I'm going back again. Come on. That could not be more perfect of a place to pause for what I'm about to say. I've seen a song from this show before, so I know there's a choir element to it, and it's not lost here. In fact, it's more pronounced than ever. What it isn't doing is dominating the two incredibly talented front women, and it's not taking away from their charm. All it's doing is filling up. So sometimes with guitar, you will have a rhythm section, a lead section, and then you'll have what I sometimes refer to as environmental noises, or sometimes just modulation on single strings, but it's modulated so much to sound echoey and spacey, and all that does is fill up the background. Make sure that where there is a breath taken, or where there is a stop on a palm mute, or where there is a break in rhythm, it feels full, makes the mix feel full. And that's what's happening here, except they are following the exact same melody and line. That's the only difference. But they're doing it in a way that is really, really complementary. And you can hear that there's multiple vocal layers, but none of them feel like they're taking away from the tone and the individuality of Floor and Simone. Masterful job from everybody, but massive credits to the engineer for this. Hang on, start. No, yes. I'm broken. Strings are wonderful. They have a slightly delayed attack. They have a slightly delayed decay. And the reason that is because there's a longer timing to the ignition of the notes. So with a plectrum on a string, you go and it's done. With a string, you have a bow and you've got to hit that bow. The bow, while you can tap it, and there are techniques to do that, that's not what's happening here. There are clearly defined strokes with that bow, and it is it's impressive to hear how well aligned that all is. And of course the keys are doing nice bits to help accent as well, and there's a synth behind that, but the strings are doing a magical job. Yeah. There it is. Okay. Choir. You can hear a more male voice, it sounds like. It sounds like a deeper voice, sounds like a more male voice. coming through in this part here. And the reason for that is the tone and the frequency value. So that's sitting much lower. What they're doing is this very high kind of almost valley sound that they're just singing and drifting on top of. And I think it's very cool. But if you listen carefully, you can hear that male vocal that's there in the background. And it's awesome.
Thank you, Floor. You kick ass. Thank you, and you too. Give it up for Epica. Woohoo!
That's yeah, that's that. I mean, I get why you were asking me to look at this for so long. It's one thing to write an awesome collaboration in studio and make it sound good. It's another thing to walk out and produce that kind of performance live. And it says two things to me. One, there was an incredible maturity to the approach to the composition and the music from the orchestra and the band, but also the incredible talent, contrast, and professionalism by both vocalists. Floor's the feature on this. So she has her moment to shine, but she also has to play a supporting role. And I didn't speak about this enough during the live performance, but it's kind of like hitting me now just how wonderfully she was able to wrap her vocals around Simone's and help highlight her strength and that clarity. And they were kind of complementing each other in different ways. And when they both went to that higher register, it's so easy to get that wrong. I've heard it a million times, and I've heard it wrong almost a million times because it's so difficult to do. The quality, the understanding of where to put your placement, of what your strength is and what their strength is, and making that work together, remarkable. Very, very good. I probably missed an awful lot because just when I was starting to hear something that I wanted to talk about, the melody threw me back into the song, and that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Chorus kills. Song awesome. We'll be listening to more of that, and can't wait to do more Epica actually. So you let me know where to go next, but loved it. Until then, please be safe, be nice to each other, have a damn good day.